And joining us now to introduce us to a prodigy, a young Korean-American cellist, is our own Paula Zahn. Good morning, Paula.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
Paula, have you met a whole lot of prodigies in your career?
I have to admit, Chang is in fact the first child prodigy I've ever had the opportunity to hang out with.
Now, I happen to know that you are a cellist and a good one yourself.
Thank you.
I've even played with you. What is your assessment of Chang as a cellist?
Well, I'd like to think I know a little something about the instrument, and technically, her finesse is staggering. But I think what surprised me more than that is her musicality. She interprets music in a very adult-like way. And I remember sitting back and watching her for the first time and thinking, I can't believe someone so young and so petite can draw these rich, powerful sounds out of the cello. And that's not just my opinion. She has played with and has been praised by musical giants, Isaac Stern, Seiji Ozawa, Zubin Mehta. And she caught their attention very early on because she was the youngest person ever to win the Rostropovich cello competition at the age of 11.
Well, there are more prodigies than there are great concert artists who have a long career. Is Chang likely to be able to sustain this and be more than just a prodigy?
It's hard to tell. There are so many risks you take with being discovered so early on, and for every Yo-Yo Ma and Pinka Zuckerman, there are thousands of child prodigies that never make it beyond their 20th year musically. Chang seems to be pacing herself, but what makes it so interesting to follow her is you want to see if she's going to finish the marathon. There's one of those questions of will she, won't she make it?
Let's take a look.
14-year-old cellist Chang is on the road, here with the Minnesota Symphony Orchestra. Hannah started playing the cello when she was 6.
Well, I was using 1/4 size cello, and it was as big as me. And I had to find a chair where my feet could actually touch the ground, and we couldn't find any. So we got this wooden chair, and my parents started like cutting the legs to make it shorter, and so I could sit this little chair with this big cello. My parents wanted me to study music first because I was an only child, and they didn't want me to be lonely later in my life, so they were thinking of music, something that could be with me forever.
A simple dream for their daughter that has become a dream for them all. For Mr. and Mrs. Chang, it has meant leaving their native South Korea and moving to the United States in order to devote themselves to Hannah's talents.
We think it is like a kind of destiny.
You like? I guess it was very difficult for my parents because obviously all of their friends, all of their family, their jobs, everything, their career, they were all based in Korea, and now they had to give up just because of their will and go.
What are you going to wear?
Just like plain dress, maybe.
You have to get through.
Aldo Paraso is her teacher at the renowned Juilliard School of Music.
You tell her this much about a phrase, for instance, and she does this much. Now, how can anybody explain what that is? That only God can explain. She's her own boss. And I give different solutions for the problem. And because she's incredibly gifted, she will find a solution, bring her own, and that's great.
What is it like to tackle a new piece of music? Is it scary?
Well, it's not scary. It's exciting for me because you get to bump into all these new things you didn't before. You get to sort of feel new kind of emotions, see new things in music.
The great cellist Mstislav Rostropovich says that Hannah Chang plays better than he did at her age. And so he invited her here to St. Petersburg, Russia, to be a soloist at his World Cello Congress. There's two frogs playing a flute. For a full week, the lush sound of cello music permeated this historic place. The Congress, a sort of think tank and jam session for cellists, included gifted professionals and enthusiastic amateurs like this reporter. At one point, more than 100 of us took the stage for a grand cello ensemble. But it was Hannah who truly captivated these astute Russian concertgoers when she joined the St. Petersburg Philharmonic to play Robert Schumann's Concerto in A minor.
What is amazing to me is your interpretation of music, because you're so young. Where does all that feeling come from?
Well, if I play something, you know, feel that it's sad or happy, you know, those things, I'm not going to know all the kinds of feelings you feel throughout the life as much as you do. So I try to get those kind of feelings from books, by reading books and watching great movies. And
What have you read that has really had a lot of impact on your playing?
on Schumann, Anna Karenina.
Really?
I think this book is really so much like Schumann Concerto. You know, it fits everything. It fits all the conflicts she goes through, the love and, you know, sadness and, you know, hatred and, you know, all these things.
Maestro Rostropovich has meant more to Hannah Chang than just an invitation to Russia. He conducted her first CD when she was only 12 and still coaches her from time to time, trying to ensure that she does not burn out before she has time to mature.
That's why when I speak with parents, I tell that she must be make no more than maximum 4 concerts each month. Because she would like use also time for playing with children in her age and live with rest and have joy for life, not that coming as slave for career.
Hannah learned early how to balance her complicated life, moving with ease from classroom to concert hall to recording studio. Her second CD will be out this month. And while she is certainly not the first young person in history to show signs of musical genius, there is a growing consensus that she just might be the real thing. No one is more eager to find out than Hannah herself.
I want to grow up. It's like, oh, people come to see her because she's young. How could such a young girl play like that? Well, I would like to actually grow up and be treated as a musician to start with, not as a young kid who knows how to play in tune.